police! Stay where you are. Stay where you are!
You're under arrest on suspicion of murder.
Is there anything in the property we should know about?
Yes, there is. Can I take you to it? I need to tell you something about what's upstairs on the top floor as well.
Welcome to Totally True Crime.
Totally true crime.
Today's case takes us to Chelmsford in Essex, in the east of England. In September 2023, a doctor just outside of Chelmsford contacted Essex County Council. They were concerned about two of their patients, married couple John and Lois McCullough. John hadn't attended any of his appointments since 2019 and had failed to pick up prescribed medication. When the staff at the doctor's surgery had tried to make contact, the couple's daughter Virginia had come up with a range of excuses to explain his absence and why he wasn't coming to the phone. She would say her parents were away on holiday, out shopping or asleep. John's wife Lois had also not attended any medical appointments. The couple were in their 70s, and the doctor found it hard to believe that their health was perfect and that they didn't need any medical assistance in their old age. Essex County Council were also concerned, and their safeguarding team contacted the police and asked them to conduct a welfare check on the couple. They lived in an area of Chelmsford called Great Baddow, and their home was a 3-storey end-of-terrace house. The police contacted the couple's daughter Virginia, who was living in her parents' home. Virginia was 35 years old. She wasn't married, and she didn't have any children. When the police spoke to her to inquire about her parents, she told them that they were travelling and that they would be back the following month. But something wasn't adding up for the police. They had looked into the couple's finances, and it was clear that something was wrong. They'd run up large debts on credit cards, their pensions were being spent, and their savings account that previously had over £150,000 in it was now empty. Family, friends and neighbours hadn't seen the couple since 2019, telling the police that Virginia was always the one to make excuses for their absence at family gatherings. The police were now treating this as a double missing persons inquiry. The police executed a search warrant for the couple's house. Police started by smashing the back door to gain entry to the house.
It's fine. No one in here at the moment. Hold on. The police. Got it. Stay where you are. Stay where you are. Show me. Stay where you are. Show your hands. You here?
Jenny?
Yep.
Jenny?
Yeah.
Cool. The time is 12:12. You're under arrest on suspicion of murder against Jonathan McCullough and Lois McCullough.
Yeah,
Okay?
okay.
You don't have to say anything, but in my home defence, you did not
I just
mention
take my cover.
when questioned, social life support, anything to do so with the evidence. Okay? Alright, your arrest is necessary
I'll
for a
cooperate.
prompt and effective.
Is there anything in the property we should know about?
Yes, there
Where?
is. Can I take you to it?
No, you can tell me.
Can we go in there for a second, just so I can tell you something about what's in there?
Yeah.
Thank you. And then,
You want to tell us
the only
something
reason
about
I
what's in
said
there?
I need to tell you something about what's upstairs on the top floor as well.
It's fine.
Yeah, okay.
It's a bit more quiet, huh? Is it here? Yes, mind your feet, so obviously
Yeah.
we
Honestly, I'm not that phone.
No, it's fine.
I know, but obviously I've got to be careful. My dad's body's in there.
Right, okay.
Yep, okay. Obviously I'll
What about
say,
your mum?
a little bit more complicated.
Okay.
That's why I said, can I go upstairs and show
Right,
you?
can you explain it to us, please? Because
Officers,
we're trying to preserve this. It's now going to be a scene, so we need to preserve this the best we can. So I don't want you to have you walking up there, all right? Because that's for your well-being as well as ours.
Oh, no, up.
Okay.
Up.
So what?
Thank you.
Where will we
Hairbands
find your
as
mum?
well, if possible.
Where will we find your mum?
Okay, so upstairs there are about 5 wardrobes.
Yep.
It's behind the bed at the back next to the sink. That's the second one. I've slipped a pile of those into his drink. There were about 2 or 3 drinks that I brought downstairs. And yeah, they were basically, he didn't drink all of them. He only drank probably about half of 2. But yeah, when I went in the morning, this was before my mother. When I went in the morning, early hours, I got up about half an hour early, about 6 o'clock in the morning. Came in and he was gone. He was gone.
Okay. It's up to you if you want to talk.
Yeah.
But the thing is, purpose of your arrest. Purpose of your arrest is for a prompt, effective investigation as well as by questioning you. We can't do that here. It needs to be done at a police station, all right?
I did know that this would kind of come eventually, and it's proper that I serve my punishment. So, yeah.
Okay, so Virginia, I'm just going to ask you this. This is what I've written down based on the information you just told us, because what we regard as a significant comment, because you've made it under caution after your arrest.
By the way, they're my granddad's.
Okay, right. So I've written this, please. I, Virginia McCullough, have informed Police Constables 77329 Brown and 79387 Bowers after entering my house on Friday the 15th September 2023 that I murdered my father, John McCullough, who was stated was under a bed in the rear ground floor of the house, and my mother upstairs in a cupboard next to the sink.
Wardrobe. It's a double wardrobe.
Right, okay, I've written
Double
cupboard.
wardrobe. It's like 4 wardrobe doors, but it's the one nearest the sink. Double wardrobe.
The cupboard.
Yeah.
What's significant, as I've written down here now, I've just read out to you. Are you happy to sign that, to say that's a true account?
Yeah. Cheer up, at least you caught the bad guy.
I've just woken up today and done my job. No.
I know I don't seem
Not a lot.
100% evil, but we all, yeah.
I'm not going to comment on anything. It's not my job to comment on it, okay? Because I've got to be impartial with everything, okay? So I'm not going to give any comment.
No. Well, I mean, I deserve to obviously get whatever's coming sentence-wise, because that's the right thing to do, and that might give me a bit of peace. Also in the handbag as well, there's and again, because you're probably going to need to know about it, there's a card in there, card one money, and that's a bank card where there's a lot of transactions that have taken place over the last few years.
What?
From money that pertains to my parents. Virginia is put into a holding cell. She's handcuffed and she's talking to officers, and then tells them that there is a murder weapon. She tells them where to find it.
So, murder weapon is upstairs in the toilet room, kitchen knife. It's in the middle of the brown carpet, against the wall, opposite the shelves. So there are 2 long white shelves. So opposite where that wall is, that's where the knife is. So the next bit is very hard to talk about. That's probably the most grisly detail. So on the ground floor, underneath the stairs, there's a few like storage boxes and things. And in the middle, I think it's in one of the boxes or in a bag or if you you want me to shush after this, it's fine. But every bit helps. You will find forensic clips helpful. There's a hammer. I know, but I'm trying to help so you find everything. It's in the middle underneath the stairs. It will still have blood on it. It's rusted, but it will still have blood traces on it. So not cooperating is it's futile.
Yeah.
There's no point in not cooperating, there really isn't. And plus, apart from which anyway, I should pay for what I've done. That's the other side of the coin, I think. So.
The police discover the bodies of John and Lois. Both were wrapped in sleeping bags. As if this wasn't horrific enough, the police find out that Virginia had killed them in June 2019, meaning she'd been living in the house with both of her parents' corpses for over 4 years. The bodies had naturally been decomposing in the house, with a family living next door to them. The police discovered that Lois and John McCullough had 5 daughters in total, and Virginia was the youngest of their children. Investigators wanted to know why nobody else had reported the couple missing, especially their other 4 daughters. They told the police that COVID helped Virginia in being able to keep her dark secret hidden from them and the rest of their family and friends. None of them had seen John or Lois for 4 years. But shockingly, nobody had also spoken to them on the phone. And yet nobody had tried to do a welfare check. If their doctor had not raised the alarm, they could still be lying undiscovered today. The police started looking at what Virginia had been doing in the 4 years between murdering her parents and her arrest. They found that in that time, she had spent over £150,000 of their money. £21,000 of that money was spent on online gambling websites. Her parents had been questioning her about her job prospects before their murders, which she had found annoying. She would often get them to give her money, manipulating their goodwill. Virginia had taken loans out in their names and withdrawn large amounts of money from their savings account. Before their deaths, they were already in over £60,000 worth of debt that their youngest daughter had got them into. Her parents had been vulnerable. Lois had anxiety and agoraphobia, and she also had traits of obsessive-compulsive disorder. John had diabetes and hypertension, plus a few other minor health conditions. This added to their vulnerability and made them easy victims. They had believed Virginia when she told them that money missing from their account was down to banking errors and being hacked by scammers. The police also discovered that Virginia had told her parents that she had employment when she didn't, and also told them that she was suffering from medical conditions that she didn't really have. Ironically, a month before her arrest, the police had visited Virginia at her home because she'd been the victim of an alleged assault. The police had interviewed her in the home, just meters away from the 2 concealed bodies. The alleged assault was an unrelated incident. Essex police had a clear picture of why Virginia had killed her parents, but now they needed to know how. One of the most shocking things they discovered was that Virginia had been planning their murders since March 2019, 3 months before she killed them. She had started collecting prescription medications. She'd bought a gadget that crushed pills, and she also had brought a knife. John, who had been 70 years old in 2019, had been poisoned with prescription medication, which Virginia had crushed up and put into his drinks one night in June. In the morning, she went to check on her father and found him dead in his bed. She had tried to do the same to her mother, but she had used a smaller dose, and her mother hadn't finished the drink that Virginia had given her, so the plan hadn't worked. But Virginia had a sinister and horrific plan B. She decided to take a hammer to her mother, beating her with it before stabbing her mother to death with a kitchen knife. She did this as her mother lay in bed, listening to the radio. Her mother had been aware of the attack and asked her daughter what she was doing. Her last moments on this earth were the realisation that her life was being taken by her own daughter. Virginia told the police that hitting her mother was like, quote, playing a xylophone, and that she did it willy-nilly. She'd then gone into Chelmsford town centre, where she'd purchased 2 sleeping bags on her father's credit card. When she got home, she wrapped each of their bodies in the sleeping bags. She'd made a makeshift tomb under the stairs for her father, and she'd put her mother's body in a wardrobe. Virginia also went to her doctor because she had sustained a cut to her hand when she was stabbing her mother. She told the doctor she got the cut from cutting vegetables. The following day, she called the bank, pretending to be her mother, to get a new credit card and PIN number. She then used that card to buy herself new clothes and jewellery. Just hours after she killed her parents, Virginia got her mother's phone and texted one of her sisters saying, "Your dad and I are at the seaside in Walton this week." She carried this on for 4 years and 3 months. It seemed so far-fetched, and there was some explanation in those messages of how she managed to carry out this macabre charade. Virginia continued to use text messages as the main method of contact, texting her siblings and other family members messages that looked like they were from Lois. On one occasion, Virginia managed to pull off calling one of her sisters and impersonating their mother. She would send them pre-printed birthday cards from a gift website to family members on their birthdays, signing them from her parents. She'd even managed to call her father's pension provider and pretended to be him. Virginia spent their pensions, their savings, and their winter fuel payments. But not only that, she would call the local police station, pretending to be her mother, to complain about trivial matters. She had also called the doctor, pretending to be her mother. One of Virginia's sisters told the police that she'd always been a compulsive liar, but no one could have predicted just how deep her lies could run. The police had enough evidence to charge Virginia with double murder. She pled guilty to both charges. The judge had this to say: "There are some interesting points. This is not his voice, but they are his words."
Your parents were not of advanced old age. They were able to take care for themselves, and they were not particularly vulnerable, but they were to some extent vulnerable because of their age and because of your father's ill health. As their daughter, and someone who they trusted with their finances, you were in a position of trust in relation to them. You had a significant level of responsibility towards each of them, and they were each entitled to rely on you. These are each aggravating features. However, they are also linked to the domestic context, and there is a considerable degree of overlap. I take account of the overall impact of these factors in increasing the seriousness of the offences, rather than artificially compartmentalizing and then adding different overlapping, aggravating factors. The fact that you concealed your parents' bodies for so long and maintained the deceit that they were both still alive is a substantial aggravating factor. It robbed them of dignity in death, and it no doubt substantially increased the distress and suffering of your siblings.
Virginia McCullough was sentenced to life imprisonment with a minimum term of 36 years before she can be considered for parole. Superintendent Rob Kirby of Essex Police said this outside of Chelmsford Crown Court after she was sentenced.
Good afternoon. Virginia McCullough murdered her parents in cold blood. Her actions were considered meticulous and carried out in such a way as to conceal what she had done for as long as possible. These were the actions of someone who had taken time to plan and carry out the murder of her parents in the interests of self-preservation and personal gain, before living within metres of the bodies of her two victims for a number of years. Throughout the course of our investigation, we have built a picture of the vast levels of deceit, betrayal and fraud that she was engaged in. It was on a shocking and monumental scale. McCullough lied about almost every aspect of her life, maintaining a charade to deceive everyone close to her and clearly taking advantage of her parents' goodwill. She is an intelligent manipulator who chose to kill her parents callously, without a thought for them or those who continue to suffer as a result of their loss. The details of this case shock and horrify even the most experienced of murder detectives, let alone members of the public. It therefore follows that the wider family of John and Lois understandably could never have guessed or anticipated that McCullough would be capable of undertaking these murders before committing herself to this level of deceit. They have been left utterly devastated by the circumstances of this case, and they continue to feel the loss of John and Lois each and every day. This process, from the finding of John and Lois's remains to the unravelling of McCullough's web of lies, has taken a huge toll on the wider family network. With this sentence, and with all that we have uncovered throughout our investigation, we hope they can now start to find a way forward with their lives. The family have continued to struggle with the intense media interest in this case, and I would repeat in the strongest possible terms their wish for their privacy to be respected as they continue to grieve their loss. Thank you.
John and Lois's other 4 children released this statement after their sister was sentenced. Our dad was caring and hardworking, and he had a passion for education and writing. He worked tirelessly in his career in university education, which spanned many years. Dad enjoyed lots of hobbies, with favourites being golf and snooker. As we think of Dad, we remember the numerous jokes he used to tell us and the laughs he gave us. Our mum was kind, caring and thoughtful. Mum delighted in her grandchildren. She had friends from around the world through her pen friend hobby, many of whom she'd written to for several decades. Mum had a passion for history and maintained a keen interest in the royal family. Mum and Dad loved their trips to the seaside together, where they enjoyed many walks and visited lots of different attractions. Their love for the seaside was so great, they were hoping to move to the coast in their retirement years. Mum and Dad always enjoyed the time they spent with us. Family was their pride and joy. Our family has been left devastated and heartbroken at the deaths of our parents, who were taken from us so cruelly. As we try to move forward with our lives, we will remember the happy times we enjoyed with them. Our mum and dad are forever in our hearts and are loved and missed beyond any measure.